player to be playing today.
Who loves pandas?
Who loves pandas?
Yeah, that's even with his excellent team. Man, the games are just starting up
Clicking
at
right along. We
rapid
just-
speed.
Shout out to Civ, our
Yes.
admin, for keeping things moving. He's doing a great job.
Who was talking about a lot of downtime? People often say like, "Oh, these shows last so long." But I'm gonna be in and out of
So,
that.
let me.
I spent more time at the DMV this morning than I did casting StarCraft today.
Here's the deal with Civ. Civ is like 6'6", 400 pounds, a former airborne ranger. This guy used to jump out of planes at bad guys. And so when these players try to go all diva and tell him, hey, I need a minute, Civ's just like, ain't happening.
No.
And they listen to Civ because he's very scary.
Of course, our panda toss spawning on the top side of Polar Knight is our lovely Desrow. Currently teamless, and I think he's quite okay with that. He has a successful stream. I hope you guys want to check it out one day as well, as he's funny and he does a good job in like interacting with his fans. Above all, he's a really good player. He's been putting in the work. I think that's safe to say. If that's safe to say about anyone, it's definitely true about Desrow. Wouldn't you agree, Ben?
And
okay, just ignore him.
yeah.
Just
I wanted to make a joke. Bit my tongue there.
Why? You're gonna make fun of my? You can make jokes on my expense.
No,
you
it
know
was.
that,
It
right?
wasn't going to be at your expense, which is
Okay.
why I'm biting my tongue.
Oh.
You know, I'm not afraid to take a shot at you, Kev. That's why it's such a beautiful working relationship. Basically, we sit here and insult each other, and the whole world
For
enjoys
years.
it.
It's a ticking time bomb, man. This can only go
One
good
of
for
these
so long.
days, it's just fist fight on the set. I knew it. Roddy and Bitter really hate each other.
It came really close. This one broadcast we did at EPS. In all these years, there was one broadcast where I was really mad at you. Well, we can go talk about that after, of course, we introduce a legendary Zerg spawning as the red player over here on the bottom side of Polar Knight. He has incredible miracles. Nestea still rocking that IM tag. Like, I think was it an EPS broadcast or?
All I remember is it was early in the bromance.
All I remember is that there were like 20, not even 28, like let's say like 36 corruptors, and you were just saying like, no, it's useless, Protoss is gonna win. If Protoss reach to this game, then Protoss is gonna win, Protoss is gonna win. Like, you just kept saying it. At a certain point I was like, well, man, if Protoss is gonna win, then we might as well just step up and leave. I was so mad at you.
And at the end of the day,
Protoss did win. But it doesn't matter. It was Hazel's playing as well. and
I
it's
think
like,
the fact that Protoss won is what made you the most mad in the end.
true, I believed in the power of the corruptor.
But I will definitely say that in the months to follow, Stefano proved to us that there was a lot of merit in your point as well. So
Heads first this time for Nestea. Desrow did scout it. He opened up with the gateway in his main. Will follow though with the Nexus immediately, as Desrow did get an excellent scout up. Of course, it wasn't for free, but he knew there was no quick extractor. I kind of wonder, Ben, like often when I see this opening, and it is possible that you punish this with like some 4-gate aggression, but it is very risky. Like if you do not almost straight up kill your opponent, or at least kill like 10-12 drones, you're so far behind because Zerg is going to have an economic lead. You've been chrono boosting out warp gate technology. What is extremely important if you do this is that you get a few stalkers early on. That's going to push everything back, and above all that you make sure that no creep tumors are going down, and then you might be able to deny everything else. But I don't think that this is the case for Desrow. Desrow is probably just going to play this as a very straight up and chill game, as he's definitely capable of macroing.
I'm so surprised that we have no shenanigans out of Nestea, who has shown us an absolute willingness to just play bonkers. And the only way I know to interpret this is him saying, I'm better than Desrow, I'm going to play standard and win that way. Which I don't know that I agree with, honestly.
We'll see how it goes. Polar Knight is a good first map for Nestea. You know, there's a lot of talk about Swarm host play these days, and a lot of people often say, you know, like, of course Korean Zergs are still the best Zergs in the world, but it definitely seems like they still have a little bit to learn from a few of those European Zergs.
This has always been the case with ZVP especially.
Who seem to be a little bit ahead of the meta and have more experience playing that sort of style. And yeah, that's a solid point as well. The Broodlord Infestor was definitely, you know, a European thing as well.
Infestor play in general, I think, pioneered by Stefano and Nerchio.
And Mr. Bitter.
Well, I was the first. I can prove it.
7 weeks of the pro, Mr. Bitter is like suggesting to make infestors. They're all like, no man.
Dude, I was
You
I'm
just
like,
listen to us.
listen, Idra, you should really try this build. And he's like, nah.
Really? Did you try to talk Rack to do
You
your
can
build?
go watch the VOD where he's like, oh, I might try this, but I really don't think it's going to be good. Stefano makes $1 million doing it.
Well, $1 million might be pushing it a little bit, but a couple $100 grand. Roach one going down for Nestea as well. Pretty quick layer, by the way, Ben. What do you think about that? Because this is quite quick, isn't it?
Nestea's been showing us that he likes to make mutas, so that's definitely my read here. But he also just scouted the Stargate building the Phoenix, so maybe that changes things up. He's got the Roach Worm building. I really want to say Hydronitis, Kev, because it's my favorite thing to talk about these days.
No, it's not going to be Hydronitis.
This is not the map for Hydronitis.
Once more, we see that same sort of style with the Roach one going down, Burrow being researched.
Probably going straight up to Swarm Host once more.
Missile attacks being researched as well. Unless this time he's actually going to commit to the Roaches, but it's unlikely. This doesn't really seem to be something that he wants to do. Might also not necessarily be the best thing. It's one of those hit and miss strategies as well. Either you completely overrun the Protoss, or the Protoss is safe, and then you're like, well, shoot, I just made a bunch of Roaches that are not going to be useful.
Now I'm going to lose.
Do you know this song? It's like, you delete me off Facebook, and now you are going to die.
I feel like you've played that song for me before.
It's so stupid. I have that song on my playlist, and every time I listen to it, I'm like, I want to take it out. But then I hear like...
Isn't that the case with most of your playlists, though?
No, I would never delete any Drake song. Started.
Just awful.
Always fun of Drake songs.
At least 2 Chainz has the best lyrics.
Yeah, comedy lyrics, perhaps. Obviously, he will get picked off, so Desrow is doing a good job in denying any vision from Nestea. And Nestea doesn't know that Desrow is already going up to 3 bases, man. And, you know, it's not that crazy anymore that we see Nexus go down at 8 minutes and 30-second mark. But you're always happy as a Protoss when it does go down. Like, one of the worst feelings is you send out that one probe, then there's a single link there that denies it. Like, oh, shoot. Then you send out another probe, and then suddenly there are like 16 links there. Of course, Desrow had a good scout up early on, and he probably watched the games between Nestea and us as well, so he realized that Nestea seems to enjoy delaying circling speed up to the 26-minute mark, especially on Polar Knight.
Yeah, seriously. Desi doing a pretty good job with these Phoenixes. He's managed to pick off more than just a couple Overlords. He's actually killed 5 Overlords and a drone, I think.
What do you think if there should be like a max on queens? Like, you're only allowed to have 1 queen per hatchery. How do you feel about that?
That's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think a lot of Protoss players would really like that
I
idea.
think a lot of non-Zerg players would be okay with that. But then you wouldn't have things like Ghost of Users 1 Ultralisk getting 60 kills against Mech.
Well, you can if you just build 15 over
hatcheries.
hatcheries.
He had 46 queens there.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of room to build some hatcheries.
With 12,000 minerals of hatcheries, he'd never need to inject.
Locust upgrade on the way. Desrow is just gonna, you know, fly around with these Phoenixes, try to pick up a drone here and there what he can, and of course he's gonna have to go up to Colossus, as that's still the most effective way to deal with most of these Locusts. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about so far, Ben, when I watch Desrow's play, of course everything has been smooth so far, nothing wrong with it, is that he's not really doing a job in trying. Okay, actually this is
already
exactly
sort of scary. There's not really any Protoss army.
well, exactly what I was worried about, Ben. That's what I was starting to take care of. I was saying like he's not really trying to push the creep back, and if the creep starts knocking on your third base, and that's why the swarm modes are going to burrow, then it's going to be extremely hard for you to get a favorable engagement. But just when I said that, he already tried to deny creep too much with the observer and the void ray. Now he's going to move his army forward as well. I'm very happy to see this, because it's so important that he takes care of this.
Yep.
Snoot made a little PvZ guide as well on how to deal with swarm host, and he said never ever ever step on this.
Yep.
And with that he meant creep.
Creep is a dangerous thing for the non-Zergs. Losing a couple asymmetry, being forced to throw down some force fields. Everything looking just fine for Desrow. Everything looking just fine for Nestea. In fact, every indicator appears to be pointing towards this game dragging out a little while longer.
Tunneling clause is being researched. It's kind of interesting. I guess the feeling that what I think that Nestea really wants to do, Ben, is like he probably wants to make a bunch of Mutalisks once more, and then maybe pick up the cannons and then be really annoying with tunneling claws or something like that. Like why is he getting tunneling claws in this phase in the game?
Especially after donating all of his roaches. I think he even canceled it, didn't he? Or did it finish?
I think it finished.
No, he
No, he
canceled
canceled
it. He
it.
canceled it when he lost the roaches. A little bit of War Prism harass down here in the main base. A single Zealot able to hit that Spine Crawler. The other 3 just kind of derping a little bit.
The other 3 zealots, I'm like, hey,
Get out of the way!
This is nice. I mean, picking off a static G, it's always
They'll
good.
be back. They're not done.
And then Nestie's like, oh, 11 roaches. I wish I had tunneling claws. Desrow kind of forgot about his phoenixes in the left bottom side of the map. doesn't matter that much. There's not really anything they can do.
They will rise again.
There's a spore crawl in every base. There are
Because they're
70
phoenixes.
drones. Oh, very smart, man. Very smart. I like that Desrow already took out the rocks over here as well, or the ice shard, I should say. Going up to 4 bases, as 4 bases is very comfortable to be on against swarm modes. That's that phase in the game where you can truly start sending units everywhere, and also have a very strong main army that is capable of taking out Locusts in a heartbeat.
Nestea taking this expansion to the top left, I think, is going to be a bit unexpected at this juncture. I don't think Desi's been over there at all. We'll see if he loops this army around and checks it.
So we've seen roughly 40 minutes of Nestea's PvZ so far today, Ben. How do you feel about it?
Well, this is the first actual standard game we've seen. Actually, Desrow walks right over to this base, and he should be able to kill this. He's going to drop a couple of spine crawlers. Where's most reports there? So he can recall out.
He gets another kill. I mean, he gets a hatchery. That's the most important thing. He's gonna leave Pro behind. I'm a little worried, man, for Nestea. This is still that former GSL star, the 2-time GSL champion, and once upon a time the best Zerg in the world. Who, you know, I understand sort of where he wants to go with his strategies, but it just doesn't really seem to connect in the way that you'd hope for and you'd love to see from a player of Nestea's caliber. I think it would have been absolutely fantastic if Nestea would have like a miracle run through WCS Season 1. And we've seen it last year. One amazing WCS season could be enough to make it to BlizzCon.
And Nestea once again doing something we've seen him do previously, bank up a lot of money and make a massive switch into mutas. 23 mutas at once right now. How do we feel about this? 18 stalkers out on the map and still those 4 phoenixes that Desi appears to have forgotten about.
Yeah, he's gonna be so happy when he realizes they're still alive. Maybe Nestea forgot about them too, that's why he's making 25 mutas. Of course, 25 mutas against 4 phoenix, that is definitely a fight that you'd love to take. Yes, how many swarm modes do we currently have on the map? 12, okay. That might be enough to push his army back. Actually, I think that these mutas, man, will do that job. They will force Desrow to use pretty much all of his units to stay defensively. Desi does have, he's gonna wipe in a lot of Zealots, Dark Templars over here. He also cleaned up these rocks. Here comes some big mutaflock though. Pretty interesting scenario now.
The first appearance of the mutas. They're going to pick off these stalkers easily and could very well destroy this main nexus if that's what they want to do. This Phoenix is still not moving. Desi seemingly having completely forgotten about him. His main army is moving to attack more bases. So Desrow's kind of entering base race mode right now, which is that the right call in this position? He's going to start producing Phoenixes. He's dropping extra Stargates, but still those Phoenixes in the bottom left continue to sit still.
He lost 3 Dark Templars there to a bunch of Locusts. That's a pretty expensive loss. They've done some serious work though. Is this enough? We have 4 Colossus.
The Observer gets picked off by the Queens. A nice play from Nestea, clearly looking for that opportunity. But it's very dangerous, leaving Swarm Hosts buried near Colossus Fire because they take the splash damage. Desrow is going to push into the natural. Spine Crawlers are going to go right down. Locust trying to spawn, but I think he's got enough force field to block him out completely if he's careful. Muta's still doing a lot of work on the other side of the map, though.
Desrow has to be careful because things like this can definitely spiral out of control. Even though a bunch of swarmers went down already, we only have 5 remaining, but the muta count is so high. It's going to be up to like 37. I'm afraid that these Stargates will never really come into play.
Look at Desrow's money, 2,000 minerals.
And
he could have built a ton of cannons if he wanted to, but he's chosen not to. That would have made it a little bit harder for these Mutalisks. Instead, he's going to just sacrifice basically his entire economy. He's going to lose all of his Nexi.
Okay, he's going to have 2 Archons over here as well. That is very nice. He's still picking up a few Mutalisks over here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he's not a move command over here. Well, he was for a little bit, but he will pick up another Swarm Host. I mean, he can still wipe in a lot of Stalkers over here because he still has these gates powered.
Does he have any probes out on the map? He does have
yes.
16. Yeah.
He has a mining base.
That's good news.
Bloop, 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 bloop. So we have 36 Mutalisks against 4 Phoenixes that are still completely forgotten about. They can kill so many drones, by the way, in such a low eco game. That's actually extremely nice. Okay, he's gonna lose power to all these gates once more. I kind of feel this is something that Nestea should have done before. Yeah. Unless he just wanted to waste some more money. He can also pick up all this important tech and maybe even the +3. I don't think this Forge is going to run for another 20 seconds, do you?
It is if these mutas head over to this new expansion, or maybe only remaining expansion is what we should say. Roach is going to do a lot of work there. Desi has no probes out on the map, Kevin. If he loses all of this, he's going to be in a tough spot. Good work from the Immortals.
You should have some probes. He has 5 probes remaining, 4. 3 of them are in the gas.
So there's one somewhere. Where is he?
No idea where he is.
He's hanging out somewhere. Either way, a bizarre game unfolding.
Oh my god! What?
Day 13. I still believe I'm a drone.
Alright, bizarre scenario, but I'm afraid that the Muda count is so freaking. If he uses the Phoenixes, come on, Desi. With 4 Phoenixes, the Archon and the Stalkers, you know, this is something that's possible. Phoenixes do so much damage.
They're gonna just remain forgotten in that corner.
Control F2.
Catastrophe right now for Desrow. Those Phoenixes would not kill all the Mutas, but they would be invaluable in lending some sort of assistance. And the Mutas seem to know that they're there.
I mean,
look at this. Look at the Mutas. Look at the Mutas. Surprise! Oh, sadness.
Much sadness.
Desi suddenly in a pretty unwinnable looking situation here, Kev.
Oh, the probe died to something just now. I have no idea to
Maybe
what.
he ran into a swarm host.
Yeah.
Would be my prediction. Desi's got 460 minerals, no way to rebuild.
Right. Well, that's really bad right now because now he cannot build a Nexus anymore. It was already bad.
He can't actually build anything. Nothing has power.
Does he have an observer? He doesn't have any more. The Robo has been dead for all this time.
And more than anything else, it's 37 Mutas against
maybe he can
1
win
Archon and
maybe he
14
can eliminate
Stalkers.
Nestea. Okay, all the drones are heading. But Nestea's not very rich. It's gonna be a full-on base trade.
He's got like 15 assimilators worth of drones there.
That's true. Got a bunch of spine crawlers over here as well. Archon is gonna be a champ. Soak up some shots. Swarmo's still being annoying as well.
Oh, it feels like an inevitable conclusion once more. Desrow played a good game here, Kev, but a couple of... I don't know where we really went wrong. I mean, certainly the Phoenixes just being forgotten about was a major factor. But would it have changed the outcome? It's hard to say that it would have.
I mean, if he keeps that probe alive as well, then at least he can sort of start rebuilding again. It's not like then again, I guess 37 million. It would have been very hard regardless.
Only 13 Stalkers left. The Mutas can just kill the rest of this. Desrow's going to tap out. Nestea does it again.
That's why I'm most into Roach into Muda switch.
The power of Mutalisk.